Hey, thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us here on Polk Place. And in studio with us, a first-timer from Peace River Center. Her name is Julie Myers. Julie is a community action treatment team therapist with Peace River Center. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian, for having me.
Yeah, so I heard you were briefed on some of the things that would go on, and were they on point?
So far,
so
yes.
Far, you're like, I'm not going back.
So far.
So talk to me a little bit about Peace River Center. For those that might not know, what
Sure.
is Peace River Center?
Yeah, so Peace River Center focuses primarily on mental health, and so we have close to 30 different programs, and we service the Tri-County area, so Polk, Hardy, Highlands, and we service populations from children to families to women, and so we have such a variety of different programs to offer for the community.
Now, when it comes to you with the Community Action Treatment Team, what exactly is a Community Action Treatment Team?
Sure, yeah, so just that first part, community. So we are a community-based team. We have the multidisciplinary approach. So we work primarily with families and children who are at risk for out-of-home placement. So going into foster care or going into residential. And so we work with families to try to find the strengths and the barriers that are there to avoid those things happening.
So how did you get involved in wanting to do this? Because it takes a special person to give back to the community, such as with what you're doing. Talk to me a little bit about your background.
Sure. So I am a Lakeland native. So I grew up in Lakeland. I got my undergrad from Southeastern University in marketing, so business, and then I was working towards my MBA, but decided, maybe this is just really not for me. And so I started the social work approach and got my master's in social work. It took about 2 years. And I've loved it ever since. It is a challenge for sure, but I love being able to give back to families and meet very specific needs that they have. So.
And the need that you're filling is with the children of the county. Talk a little bit about the team and go in a little bit more depth of how you help children cope with day to day. I mean, there's so many things that they're dealing with, and we've come out of the pandemic, and there's new learning situations. Talk a little bit about what you guys are doing to work with children.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the biggest things I think is education. So a lot of what I find myself doing is educating families, educating the children that I work with on their diagnoses and what symptoms that they have, and then addressing those symptoms through coping skills and different various interventions. But I would say the biggest thing is really just educating parents. A lot of times they don't really understand maybe why they're seeing certain behaviors that could be related to mental health issues. And so I think that's one of the biggest things that I really focus on, is just providing that educational piece to both families and to children as well. As
we heard in the open, kind of almost at that point, kids can see the finish line of the school year. We've got a long break coming up. We want to keep the kids engaged. As a parent, what kind of suggestions, what kind of tips can you give a parent to keep their kids, let them enjoy their time off, but still keep the eye on the prize, as we say?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of pressure leading up to spring break and a lot of feelings of anxiety and stress. And I think specifically to touch on the students that are leading into spring break, there's that adrenaline stress of trying to finish the semester, and so trying to deal with some of those difficult feelings. And maybe the students are going home and they're not used to being around their families. They've been away for months. And so I think one of the important parts is to take time to rest and to be still. And for parents, I think the phrase that they hate the most is "I'm bored" from their kids. So, I'm bored. Help me figure out what to do. And so just encourage you to just relax, and your time doesn't always have to be filled with taking trips to Disney. It could be something as local, something simple and fun, and it's okay for children to be bored. Out of boredness comes a lot of creativity. And so just focusing on taking time for yourself to be still, and for parents, making sure that you plan maybe a date night or time with friends to give back to yourself.
How else can you keep them engaged? Because, like I said, the ultimate prize is, we got to get to the next level. That's, it's just, okay, we're going to finish this, get the next level, then we got a little bit of time off, then we start it all over. So what else can we do?
Sure, I think the most important thing is to have a plan. I think leading up to spring break, like I said, there's some anxiety and what do we do now with our time off? And so a lot of parents will take their work off during this time to be home with their kids. And so having a plan is really important. Planning out certain activities that are doable for you financially and that just make sense. And so having a plan, but also sticking to the routine as much as possible. So sometimes during spring break, a lot of kids like to stay up or they like to, maybe sleep in. And so I would just advise sticking to that routine as much as possible can help students and families to stay regulated. But planning activities, having something planned at least daily and working towards that will help you to manage some of your expectations.
So we got about a minute left. What I'd like you to do is kind of finish off strong and give the parents, not only the parents, but the students, the encouragement and the support that they need in order to get through this time.
Sure, yeah, so this can be a really difficult time. It can be very fun, but also it can bring up some difficult emotions and feelings to work through. And so I think we talk a lot about self-care and mental health, and self-care is not being used to escape the life you have, but learn how to enjoy it. And so that may look like doing things that bring that joy out. So getting enough sleep, exercising, and just giving yourself permission that you don't have to maybe participate in all the things, but letting yourself enjoy the time that you have off.
Well, Julie, it was a pleasure meeting you and having you come in. And you got to come back, will you please?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll see you next time. And any time that you have anything you need to promote, the chair is yours.
Thank you.
Peace River Center's mission is to engage, restore, and empower individuals in our community to reach their fullest potential. The vision of Peace River Center is to be a center of excellence for building emotional wellness. Their services are person-centered, trauma-informed, evidence-based, and culturally responsive. Their commitment to the well-being of their patients extends beyond the services they provide directly. They work in collaboration with other healthcare providers in each community to ensure patients' total healthcare needs are met. For more information, you can check them out on the web at peacerivercenter.org.